Same thing. It's getting used to a quick hammering piston-like punching and working out. Once again, you're getting used to your hands working a little bit independently of each other. The next problem that I used to have was it was like my hands were tied together. All right? Let's put this down for 1 second, Dougie. So if Dougie's a pass rusher and I'm set up for a pass and he knocks one of my hands down, it was like my other hand would follow. You know, for some reason, it was like they were on the same wavelength. And Sarge used to say, you've got to get used to doing punching independently of each other. That way, if one hand gets knocked down, if he knocks down one hand, the other one comes in, and you still got one weapon. All right, for some reason, you tie up one of my hands, both of my hands would go dead. So we worked a punch drill where now we're working all four corners. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's working the opposite corner. Same sequence. Three sets of punches at 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off. And this is where the bear really jumps on your back, boy. It's really strong. Your upper body is completely gassed, and you're sucking air. And something about independent punching is that when it's a whole different source of energy for an offensive tackle. Now, ideally, what I want to get is a good penetrating. I want to shock them. Sometimes, because you get a hand knocked down or whatever, say he knocks one of my hands down. All right. Now this is the hand, like I said, this is the hand that's got to work. But it has a different effect on this guy. Now, if you watch him coming in, now I'm going to hit him with an independent combination on different shoulders, and what that will do is it'll rock you in a certain way where it kind of shocks you. Sarge used to tell me that in boxing, if you feel like you're getting bored in on it, if you just start throwing them, the guy that you're playing, the way the sight lines work, it just for an instant makes your body stop and say, okay, whoa, I see a bunch of movement. What is it that's going on here? So when he's coming in, see now that, what that does is it's still penetrating, it's still shocking, but it has a little different effect. Now he's getting rocked a little bit in different angles, and it's kind of he sees a lot of movement coming at him, and it causes you to just pause for a second and kind of say, okay, now what am I going to do? I'm getting jacked here. There's a nice jackhammer effect here. So it's causing the defensive lineman to stop and rethink, and it's also just shocking the heck out of him. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks. You all right? Oh, you killed before. I'm going to use you in a couple minutes. All right. Also another thing is recoil is very important. As we look at and this works for tackles more. Centers and guards, obviously, and we were talking about this last night. When you get a nice penetrating punch in, you want to keep what you have. Like we were talking about last night, you've got that penetration, you've got them worked in here, and you want to keep your hands on them and work them as you go. For a tackle, especially working on the wide guy, separation is a good thing because we work what we used to call the vertical line. And if this guy's out here, he's not a threat to me right now. When he crosses that line, that's where he gets a threat. So when he comes in, at the point of impact, boom, I want to punch, and I will pull my hand back. If you talk to good fighters, they'll tell you that recoiling their punch, getting ready to, pulling it back, is more important than actually throwing it out there because you want to get ready to punch again. So it's very important that after you punch, when you do these drills, you don't just leave your hands out there, so you recoil. So they're loaded, okay? So the gun's loaded once again. The second part of this program is called the trapping, all right? Doug, why don't you come up here again? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to send you back so far. One of the things that'll start happening is when you start punching, at least when I start punching and I start carrying my hands kind of high, now guys are thinking, okay, put your hands up high and punch. All right, now what do I see there? I see an opening in the chest and I'm thinking bull rush, all right? And they're looking at me, being light in the butt, and they're going, bull rush. I want to run this guy back into the quarterback. Well, and most times when the guys get bull, they're bull rushing. The guys are trying to fight, they're fighting, trying to get back. Well, one of the things that Sarge told me is the thing that makes a bull rush so effective is the leverage and the bridge, the arm being the bridge. And he used to say, if there is no bridge, there is no bull rush. And if you look around the league and you watch, and I would imagine this is true in college too, most guys bull rush like this, with their feet way behind them and their hips not under them at all, because what? They want to get leverage. They want to get you back in the quarterback's lap. So what Sarge used to tell me is, you want to start eliminating that bridge. And so as hard as we punch, and as much as we want to punch, sometimes we miss the punch. And sometimes we're slow. And sometimes the guy's boring on you so quick, you don't react fast enough, and he's got leverage. Okay, Dave. So now Dougie's coming in, and he is starting to bull rush me, and I'm losing ground. Obviously, he's bigger and stronger than I am, and I'm going to end up in the quarterback's lap. Now, he's got his hands on me, and what I want to do is remove the hands. This is where the concept of Wing Chun comes in, or trapping hands. He's boring on me now. I want you to, can you all see this? He's coming in and hands on me, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch out, so I'll catch him. Yeah, let's take this off. When he's coming in on me, what I want to do is remove the bridge. Now, it's basically just knocking his hands down, although it's not that simple a technique. Once again, we want the energy here generated from the lats, and I want it, my aiming point, I want it to be up near his elbow. Okay, I don't want it to be close to the wrist, because if I try to knock his hands down and I miss, I'm dead. All I'm doing is pulling his strength into my weakness, basically, and I'm pulling myself back into the quarterback. But when I go further, closer to the elbow, what I'm doing, I have a lot less chance of missing, and also I have more control. If you look, if I've got him here, I really don't have control. But if I have elbow, I've got a lot more control. So when he's coming in, he's pouring in on me. All right, I'm coming back. All right, what I'm going to do now? Go ahead. I'm not going to hurt. I'm not going to. He's coming. See, Dougie and I go way back. So as he's pushing, I'm coming in. Okay, and I'm now removing the bridge. And once again, it goes back to, did you see the head snap? That's what tells you it's effective. And the beauty of this is that after you trap a guy, the first thing that'll hit normally is his chin, because he's not prepared for this movement. See, right now, when Dougie's locked up, he thinks he's got leverage, he thinks I'm going for a ride, and he's going to get a sack, and he's going to get up and go, me, right? All right, well, what this is doing is totally, number one, catching him off guard. He's not prepared for this. And the second thing it does is bringing his head to down here. And what makes this such a beautiful thing is that now you've got his head, the back of his head, the back of his shoulders under you, and then boom, you follow up with a punch. And then you get him on the ground, you knee him, you elbow him, you drive him into the dirt, because hey, you're creating dominance. Alright? You know as well as I do that those defensive linemen can't wait to play at the quarterback, and someone told offensive linemen that they need to be passive in their pass blocking, and I'm saying no, you don't have to be. This is a way to be dirty, not dirty, but nasty, physical. I don't like that word dirty. I don't believe in offensive linemen. You know, it's already rush blocking against those genetic mutations over there, and it's already no contest. But anyway, so once you get a guy, so he's coming down, all right, and then you work him down, drive him into the ground. Now we work these one after another. Now his forearms, if I'm doing this right, his forearms are getting really sore because it's a very biting movement. I mean, if you guys try it, it's a different thing. It penetrates the forearm. It feels like a baseball bat whacking on your forearm. And guys, I'm telling you what, it's so destructive that you can physically abuse a guy afterwards. Now sometimes, for the shorter guys, they're not going to be able to trap a big, tall guy like Doug. The opposite of the trap is what's called a wedge. Now, a wedge, to be honest with you, I would practice it always, but for every 20 traps I threw, I might throw one wedge. But now other guys that I've trained really like the wedge better because they're naturally low-body guys and they're squat monsters. And the wedge, and now he's a taller guy and he's got me up here on my shoulders. Now I'm not going to be able to come over that and trap it. So the wedge is coming up and hitting the elbows, inside of the elbows, and it's the same thing. The movement is like knocking your hair out of your eyes. And once again, this is generated by the lats, and it's a quick movement. movement that it's meant not, it's not my English isn't the greatest, like Jim said, I was born in Turkey, but you come in like that and you want a nice compact move, okay? You don't need a gross movement, because all I need to do is I need to get his hands off me, and what the tendency is for guys to want to do this, okay? Now that's wasted movement. All I want to do is come up here, because then I want to punch right after. Because everything that Sarge taught me that we do starts with a punch and ends with a punch. It always starts with a punch and ends with a punch. The trap and the wedge and these other movements are part of it, and when the punch doesn't work, or misses, or is caught, alright, then you're going to the trap and you're going to the wedge, and then you're punching over it though, because you always come back to the point. So when you're trapping, come down. See, I don't need to trap any further than this, because my hands are ready to punch. So a lot of the drills we'll do that we'll put together, we'll trap it, we'll punch it, we'll trap it. So now, when you're working a defensive lineman, you're shaking him around, you're jacking him, you're throwing him around. He doesn't know he's getting different types of attack that he's really not sure. I tell you what, when you start trapping a guy and he falls on his face, he don't want to bull rush you anymore, because he's embarrassed. He just got buried. All right, and they don't want to bull rush anymore. They start rushing kind of hard. The next thing in the series of that is called the sweep.
Hey, on the wedge, what's the landmark?
The landmark is always the same. It's right around, if you were to do a diameter around your forearm, it's right before it hits the elbow. So the closer you get to the elbow, the more it hurts. All right, and the less chance you have of missing, and the more control you have. And it's just, and as you watch me, it's just like, you know how you knock your hair out of your eyes? That's the movement, just like this. And the rotation is what causes the pain on the forearm. The rotation on the trap down and the rotation on the wedge up is what causes the pain. And believe me, you start working your guys, and when I was working with Max guys, after about 6-7 hits, they're all going, man, I don't want to do this anymore. But don't worry, because the nerve endings in your arm eventually die from this, and then you can just keep whacking the heck out of each other. You build up the tolerance to it. The last in the sequence is called the sweep. Okay, now the sweep works great more for pass blocking, or more for run blocking than it does for pass blocking, but it works especially good on waggles or sprint protection. Say I want to get this guy hooked up on me. I want to get him hooked, but Doug's got me hooked. I'll turn my back here. Doug's got me hooked, and I'm trying to, and he's working, like a defensive end, he'll straighten it out. All right, now a trap is kind of like a side. A sweep is kind of like a side trap. So he's got me in like this. He's got control. I'm still trying to get it. Now I come across it and I sweep him. All right, and he loses his. Now where he had control and he had leverage, it was just replaced by me. And it's simple. Once again, it's the key to this. All these movements is all in the torque, which is generated from the lats. And so once again, I'll show you real quick. He's got me. He's out. I'm going to come in, and now I have dropped the mic, yeah. Anyhow, thanks, brother. Let's see here. We're going to do something. All right, the next portion of what we were doing is called the hand sensitivity. And okay, now guys are trying to knock my hands down. All right, I'm punching guys. You're punching guys. Your guys are punching guys. The defensive ends are going defensive ends. Sometimes it takes defensive linemen a little while to figure it out. Most defensive linemen I know will not change their pass rush against the guy. What they'll do is they're going to do what they